One of the great questions that everybody's talking about is whether the Israeli secret, their secret police, so to speak, their intel op, Mossad, was involved with Epstein, and whether they were involved in this. And everybody's saying, Mossad. Okay. Let me answer your question, all right? Let me see if I can help you with this one. Nobody knows. I don't want to be a killjoy, but nobody knows. They don't sign off on this. They don't sit there and say, well, as a matter of fact, no. Listen, I know people love this, and I know people love to do this Mossad thing, and they just, or Mossad, they have this, but it's like it's the sexiest name around. People just go berserk when they hear it. I mean, they really do. They really love it. It's this, wow, they just can't get enough of it. So we really don't know. We don't know because they don't leave notes, and they don't necessarily leave a file, and they don't admit to stuff like this. But here's the reason that I think that militates against it. Let me see if I can explain this to you. One of the things that I think we all can agree with is that Mossad, I think, would be pretty good. You know what I mean? Pretty good. Pretty good. And I think that when they do an operation like this, let's say over a period of time in which they set up or left or had everything recorded, and recording devices and everything to catch various captains of industry and world leaders doing God knows what, they probably wouldn't let or keep or allow they probably wouldn't allow these tapes to accumulate over the years without picking them up from time to time. Now, according to Pamela Jo Bondi and her investigations and files, she said that they had so many terabytes of information that apparently were seized from the various properties. I don't think Mossad would have waited 20 years or a week before collecting the information that they had left, that they had provided, that they had set up in the 71st Street mansion, the Virgin Islands, island, blah, 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 blah. I don't think so. It just doesn't make any sense. Why would you do that? Why would there be anything, unless they are so good and clever, they left garbage there. So this is, we're at the end of our logical trajectory, and people are coming out of their way or trying their best to find new ways to explain what this is about, what happened, who did what, who was responsible, because we have this James Bond love affair with all things clandestine and the like. The question is, we don't know. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if CIA, Mossad, MI6, and everybody else under the sun were involved with this or anything else of this impact and import, without a doubt. But for us to just assume that all of a sudden there is this automatic sign-off, co-conspiracy, connection with Mossad because we love this stuff, I think we got to be very careful about that. We got to be very careful not to get carried away, not to go nuts, not to go crazy every time something comes up involving something that's spy. Now, like I said, I would not, I don't know the first thing about it. I've not been in any intel organization or operation in my life. I have no knowledge. I kind of have a gut feeling for what it is. But the real instance, the question you also have to ask is, as the president has to release something, he has to do it right now and he has to release something, the files, where it's almost a limited hangout, where he says, this is the official files. Anything not in here was added on or was meant to make me look bad. And the question is very simply this, with the almost 800 to close to $1 billion in total settlements, did Donald Trump ever write a check to anybody for any involvement he was involved in? You would have known all about that. From E. Jean Carroll, that one, to Dusty Saddles, or whatever her name was, to whatever. You would have heard about this. Isn't that interesting? Not one person thought, I mean, as far as you know, not one person sued him, collected, settled with him. Isn't that something? Donald Trump. Because believe me, if there was anything that this guy was involved in, anything even remotely close to being dastardly, he would have been involved in this. So think about this. So, recapping, if Mossad were involved in this, if it were true, if they actually were involved in this, I would think at some point they would have probably said, let's don't let these hard drives accumulate over the years. We might want to use some of this information now before people die and before we lose the quality of the film or the whatever the particular medium is. And by the way, today with AI has virtually killed anybody who even says, "Hey, look, I've got you and a duck, squatting over a goldfish bowl." Sorry, I don't think that's going to work, because today with AI, nobody believes anything you see. A picture's not worth 1,000 words anymore. So that's that. And also going back to Trump, the question is, did he ever settle with anybody? No. The reason why he didn't do anything. So, this case is far from over. Stay here, my friends, and stay tuned for more insights and the like, as I give you something to think about as we comment, or you comment as you see fit.